102 and the Utilities Committee is, we are here. And I'd like to welcome back Mr. Jimmy.
Thank you. What's up?
Miss Jane, Miss Carissa. Ladies, welcome to our small abode. We'll let you talk in a minute. And Miss Patton, welcome. Glad to see you here, I think. Anyway, she's with WOUB, so she's gonna. All right, we're gonna start the meeting tonight talking about the COG. And Jane, if you would come up, please, and give us your little speech, I would appreciate it. She's the boss. She's the director.
I'm the boss of no one. I'm Jane Forrest Redfern. I'm the director of the Athens Hocking Solid Waste District, and I'm so pleased to be here to present the Southeast Ohio Recycling Terminal Council of Governments invitation for the city of Nelsonville to join, to be part of the Council of Governments, to be able to provide a regional approach to recycling, reuse, and reduction of our waste going into the landfill. We, over a series of 2.5 months, the leaders of the Village of Amesville, the Solid Waste District, the City of Athens, we actually had your esteemed city manager zooming in from Hawaii. Also the City of Logan and Athens Township. All of us went through 2 documents. One, the bylaws of the Council of Governments, and then the agreement. These agreements, the agreements and the bylaws were both drafted by one of the best Council of Governments attorneys in the state. And so as far as the legalese goes, it was all right there. It was just a matter of us figuring out how to tailor it for our area. Have you had a chance to have copies and read through the agreement and the bylaws?
There was copies given to us prior.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you have copies? Great. So would you like me to take you through each section of the bylaws and the agreement?
You have an extra copy.
I think she's going to give you extras.
I don't
Do you have
think you'll
enough?
have to go through each one.
Right.
Of those, since
No, I'm
we've
not
got
gonna go through-
copies.
Each thing, but let me just kind of run through the purpose of each document. First of all, the bylaws, any organization, whether nonprofit, government, or businesses, have bylaws, and these are basically the way that we govern ourselves. It gives the authority to, under the Ohio Revised Code 167.04, to adopt bylaws and to move forward with the Council of Governments. One of the things that we talked long and hard about is board membership, and there was a lot of discussion on this. We decided that for just operations, that more than 15 people on a board is way too many. But we also thought that if we were successful and we were doing the right thing, that we might have other organizations from outside Athens and Hocking want to join. So we wanted to give them an opportunity. But the maximum number of board members would be 15. That doesn't mean we have to have 15. It just means as people join, when we get to the 15th, we have to go back and look at the bylaws again. But what we did decide on was that each city, so in the district, there's the city of Athens, the city of Nelsonville, and the city of Logan. So each of those individual cities would get a seat at the table. Each solid waste district would have one representative. So we have solid waste districts throughout Ohio. And for instance, if the Meigs County Solid Waste District would want to join and take advantage of the council's services, then they would be able to have a representative. Villages, we felt, it's hard enough on villages. I don't know if you've been to a lot of government meetings, but it's usually one or two people that are representing villages. So we said each county, for any village that joined, there would be one representative representing those villages in each county. The same with townships. There are 41 jurisdictions, many of them are townships. We felt that one representative from each county could well represent townships. Solid waste has always been and historically overseen by health departments. And I work very closely with both Athens and Hocking County Health Departments. And we felt that it was important for them to be at the table and be a member. So we gave each health department a representative. So these folks, each member organization, so for instance, the city of Nelsonville would send one representative to board meetings, and they could, for instance, the city manager could send as a proxy Councilman Flowers. You're allowed to send a proxy, but you have to send a piece of paper with a signature on it. Anyone that's represented has to be elected or paid. We don't feel that these kind of decisions should be made by volunteers. It's just a lot of responsibility. Each board member also will serve at the behest of the member organization, and they will basically serve until they're replaced. So we don't have term limits in the COG. The officers, we have a chair, a vice chair, and secretary treasurer, and at the last meeting last Thursday, the elected chair was Commissioner Eliason. The vice chair was Mayor Guzman. And Krista is serving as the secretary treasurer until we get more members. Once we get more members, we'll probably have another election. The chair, vice chair, and secretary have normal duties of those offices. The meeting sections of the bylaws are Ohio Revised Code. If there's an emergency meeting, you got to notify people, you have to go through. Public meetings have to be notified. Regular meetings need to have public notice. So those are basically the kind of generic ones. Committees are ad hoc and as needed. The executive director shall be the chief administrative officer for the SORT COG. The bylaws give the board the opportunity to hire an attorney. The fiscal year will be January through December. And we will also allow affiliate status. Affiliates are folks that are not able to join because they're not a government body. Like Ohio University is a subset of the state of Ohio, but they would want to join as an affiliate. So that outlines the affiliates.
And our Hocking College.
And Hocking College, right? They could join as well. So the amendments to the bylaws can be done by the majority of representatives, and these have been submitted to the state for their approval. The second is the agreement for the establishment of the Southeast Ohio Recycling Terminal Council of Governments. Just to give you some background, the Southeast Ohio Recycling Terminal was the name of the first recycling program in Athens County. And so we're recycling the name. I thought it was gonna sound like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there you go. Got a little laugh on that one. Okay. All right, so Article 1 is the name and purpose. The purpose of the COG is to build sustainable communities by providing at a regional scale solid waste collection, processing, and disposal, while providing membership with related services, planning, educational resources related to solid waste, landfill diversion, sustainability plans, creating the circular economy, which means jobs, and a cleaner, safer, better place to live
And all of this is going to be paid for
by
By-
the services.
by the services.
Yep,
And the services will reflect how many people join the call.
the services will be a menu of options if, for instance, as your, community, has a contract with AHRC, that will be transferred. So any service that they provide you now, they can provide. Move out for Ohio University students, that's kind of a service, so they could be doing that for Hocking College. I have recycling days, so I utilize the staff as well as roll-offs for those events. So any of the services, it's a menu, so any member or affiliate could select from any menu of items.
If we could hold the questions until the ladies are through talking, please.
Membership, basically, members have to ask to join, well, you have to pass a resolution that says you want to join the COG, and then it's presented to the COG board, and then they vote for you to be to enter the COG. You must pay all dues and assessments established by the council, so dues are $500 per year and are due on January 1st. I'm not sure that the office will be there, but there's no late fee if you get it in late. Each member shall be represented in the council by one representative, as I outlined. And you can withdraw from the council by just simply serving a certified copy of an adopted resolution of your intent to withdraw at least 180 days. So you all know how hard it is to get a contract out, go out to bid, and then actually get somebody moving on a road paving project or whatever. That's why the COG would need 6 months to be able to rearrange services, rearrange drivers, whatever, in order to affect someone leaving. So we felt that 6 months, that would be a normal kind of contract period, but it also would give the COG and the party the ability to navigate the contract process. No dues or assessments paid by the withdrawn member shall be refunded. We can terminate a member if they don't pay their bills. That sounds about right. The liability of members, this is a big issue for everyone, in that the COG will be insured solely and will by all means protect all of its members as well. Just because someone would sue, the COG does not limit your liability in case, unless you all contributed to it, but that section of the agreement is very clear that the liability should be with the COG, not the members of the COG.
Because lawsuits never happen here in Nelsonville.
Nope, never.
Thanks, Tom.
That's right.
That was
The powers, Article 3, the powers of the COG are basically the powers that the Ohio Revised Code gives council of governments. We didn't really change any of those. It's pretty much boilerplate, which basically means we can do planning, we can work together, we can cost share, we can act as a planning agency, we can hire people, we can contract with the officials, We can work with each other. The bylaws, we just reviewed, the board of directors, Article 5 outlines all of the different items, as, a board, that's basically generic, boilerplate as well. And then the financial support and expenditures, this is where the $500 dues, comes in, and, lastly, the dissolution. If, the agreement can be amended from time to time by the majority of the directors. Title to, any and all of buildings, will be held. Any of the cash will be distributed amongst its members. And then, assets will be distributed to the solid waste district. So, this, I know it's new. I'm excited because that means more people will care about what I have to do every day. But, solid waste is a serious issue in our area, whether it's an abandoned home, hoarding situation in our community, illegal dumping, where you take that broken TV. All of these things are critical, and solid waste has long been a government issue that you've had to deal with. And by all working together, we can help divert as much waste as possible, saving us money, saving landfill space, saving resources, and most of all, create jobs for the region, which that's what I'm interested in doing. So, Krista, did I leave anything out? I kind of got on a roll, sorry.
No, you did a really good job, Jane.
Covered well.
Questions?
Any questions?
Does the COG apply for any grants?
Absolutely, yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we do a lot of planning, to identify what the needs are, of the region. And, then they would apply for, grants to be able to expand the compost facility, or dealing with more leaves, or, everyone's, with all of the tornadoes we just talked about. I just got an email from someone from, Logan County, looking for somebody that had a tub grinder. Critical, especially, we should really need to have one down here because we have way more trees than Logan County has. And also tree loggers they were asking for. So it also helps us with emergency preparedness because we're all working together. We know where the trucks are. We know how to deploy them. We have workers ready to go. And so I think we have so many different options here. And the grants are critical because we don't have all of the money in the world here. So this would, and I like to build things, so I already have a list. Sewage treatment is
Yes.
one major expense of cities, and villages or whoever runs the wastewater treatment plants. That's an issue that we're gonna need to explore. It's a major expense, and if we can find alternative ways to landfilling it, let's do it. So,
I do have a question if I
Yes.
may. When I was at the meeting, and maybe I misunderstood what went on, but you said each entity will have one person, is that correct?
right,
Now, if I remember correctly, Amesville is first and second, and they've got two people.
no, it was Commissioner Eliason and the mayor.
Commissioner,
Commissioner Eliason,
okay, that's
And-
where I got
yeah.
mixed up.
and those currently are the only two members of the
Right.
COG.
Okay,
When you join, then you will be a member and you'll get a vote. In the past meetings that we were talking, that we met to negotiate these agreements, there were a number of representatives from each jurisdiction and we all talked together. But in this case, you have to be a member in order to vote for the COG.
In what way did Commissioner Larson join?
Eliason?
In what way did he join? I mean,
He is representing the solid waste district. My board are the 3 county commissioners of Athens and 3 of Hocking. And they appointed him as the representative for the district, and in addition to me, but he is serving on the board.
Now, what is the attorney that was there on the end? What is his purpose?
The attorney for the mayor,
Yes.
he was just there to, in case there were legal issues.
Okay.
He's the legal representation for the city of Amesville.
Village.
For the village of Amesville. Yeah, big distinction. From the village of Amesville, and he had been involved in, reviewing the materials.
Okay. Mr. Conjimmy?
I did have
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just was to say, I had one thing that I wanted to add from what Jane had said, and that the bylaws specifically left it up to each community to decide for themselves who they were going to appoint to the council of government. So initial versions had a specific list of people who could be in there representing the city. But it's going to be up to Nelsonville to determine how they're going to decide and who they're going to put on that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Conjimmy. Mr. Staffington.
I'll volunteer the city manager to be the representative. I'm just kidding.
I was hoping you got to me first. Because I was gonna volunteer the auditor.
Just so everybody knows, the treasurer secretary position will be open as soon as the executive director and there's a 3rd member.
I would leave in the chair and vice chair positions.
I had 2 questions.
Yes.
The first, I think, is easier. Is there any plans from the founding members or any possibly larger participating members like Athens to have weighted votes on the COG? Or will it be one entity, one vote?
So that was an issue that the city of Athens raised, and they suggested an amendment.
It's in the agreement.
It's in the agreement.
And
So, after 3 years of the COG operating, the membership issue will be revisited.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it depends on, what if there's only 5 people, or what if there are 15 people? What if there are members that don't use any services? Maybe townships are gonna join like crazy, and, which would be welcome, and not one vote is enough. But the city of Athens did, in the initial, one of the initial meetings, they asked for us to consider the weighted vote, and it did not get accepted, but we did add that amendment to review it in 3 years.
Gotcha.
This is
Thank you.
all new. This is all new.
Right. Well, so the second question, just so I can know, for city operations, like it was just discussed the last committee that the city has a range of options open to it in a way we almost never had
Mhm.
in the coming 1 to 2 years. Will, and maybe this is a hard question, does it seem like the direction of the COG is to offer a menu of options? You're shaking, you're already getting the, I was gonna say, or is it a one size fit all, like you've got to buy these services or you're not getting service?
No, I mean, there are so many unmet needs, and, as the solid waste district coordinator, there's just one of me. But let's say we all work together and develop a plan that we want to have a roving household hazardous waste collection material or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't drive my truck around, or I'll be thrown in jail, collecting hazardous waste. But what if we had, we did it right and we all work together, that kind of thing. That probably wasn't a good example. But were you thinking of any particular thing? Truck grinders are
Just
big.
based off the last conversation, and I'm just making this up, by the way. Like, let's say Nelsonville needed assistance collecting recycling, but Nelsonville was gonna collect its own garbage.
Mhm.
And that would, Okay, I just
That,
wondered,
actually, that is what, the city of, Logan is considering right now.
I see, okay. I don't have a say, I'm just an interested party, I
Yeah,
guess.
that,
I'm an
that's a really
interested
good example,
citizen.
because it is actually being considered.
Thank you.
I'm a big advocate of the COG because first of all and foremost, it's gonna preserve what Athens County has been doing for many years as a leader in recycling, okay? And solid waste. People don't realize the history we have as being a leader in the country, let alone the world of what we're doing. And first and foremost, it's gonna preserve those programs. And then moving forward to the next level, this is what the COG is gonna do for us with all these added in features that it has. That's the most important thing to remember.
Great.
So preserving what we already have and then moving forward to the next level. Just keeping it that simple.
Exactly. The solid waste district and Athens Hocking were paired together, and we helped build the program that they have today, and also the MRF. And so that's why the Athens Hocking solid waste district, we know the district because we've lived it. It's our community's infrastructure. And so we want to keep it that way. And so that is why the solid waste district last Monday voted to start a process to institute a parcel fee on all improved parcels in both Athens and Hocking. And that money will go to purchasing the recycling center. And that will then also reduce the overhead. Because the solid waste district will be paying the insurance, the utilities, the maintenance, the upgrades, and be able to support the district and the COG by owning a piece of that, as opposed to, having the COG having to bear that expense. And that way, it's always going to be here for us.
I heard you say that Logan was thinking about having their own trash hauling business.
No,
Goodness, no.
no. Recycling.
Definitely not.
Yeah. No, Logan has a free enterprise system, like all of the district, except for the city of Athens, the city of Nelsonville, and Coolville, Gloucester as well. So there are 4 communities that have franchises. The other part of Athens and all of Hocking, it's a free enterprise. So that means haulers can go down a road, 4 or 5 of them. I live on a very windy road, and there are at least 5 or 6 different haulers on different days in my neighborhood.
So does that mean just one person can go call them up and say, can you pick up my trash? Call up any
I
hauler
can
they want?
call
Yeah.
anybody, yeah, that's
It's a
the way it
free-for-all.
is everywhere else except for Nelsonville, Athens, Coolville, and Gloucester.
That's a terrible way to do things, I think.
Well, people are concerned because it's tearing up our our roads.
Our alley.
Just go to Gloucester on trash day.
Yeah.
And see trash trucks going down big hills backwards.
Mhm.
The mayor was quite concerned. He goes, "Can you do anything about that, Jane?" I go, "No, I can't build a road." But, so we invite you to join the COG. We, hope that you'll join us, in this, adventure and, in building something that's gonna be here for our children and grandchildren, and, really, preserve a bit of our infrastructure to best serve all of us. So, if there's anything else that we need to address, yes.
I have 2 questions. Will, future meetings be open to the public?
Yes, it's a public organization now, so,
Okay.
the next meeting is the 17th of June, Monday, and it happens to be right here in Nelsonville at the Foundation of Appalachian Ohio.
Okay.
10 a.m.
Perhaps we could use your place sometime.
Sure.
That'd be great.
Another question. So currently the COG is for recycling, solid waste district. Will the COG expand into like the area economic development? Is there plans to expand what the COG does and covers?
Well, it's explicit in the agreement, but it's mostly, it has to be all involved with solid waste in some form.
Okay, so
But
it's
the
limited to
circular
that.
economy is like, there's a company in Pittsburgh that rips to shreds mattresses and recycles all of the parts. Can you imagine if we got all of the mattresses from all the hotels,
Right.
from all of the, OU, Hawking, you strip those down, we could create jobs and then make mattresses and sell them back to them. That would create a lot of jobs. So, I mean, there's all kinds of things like that, electronics. You should have been at my recycling day in Logan or in Athens. Roll-ups full of electronics that could be easily fixed, repaired, and we only have a handful of repair people here. So, I mean, there are lots of opportunities we could offer. But it's basically, once we get enough members to do some of that kind of down the road planning, you know, we could, you know, do that. The city of Logan is interested in bringing a glass recycling plant because they have a fiber optic company there and they want to feed it with glass. So they're interested in looking at something like that. So let's create some jobs. That's what I say.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone have any more questions or anything you'd like to ask? Mr. Contini?
No.
Okay, well, then we will close the utilities meeting at 7:33, and I thank you very much for being here.